Good evening, televiewers. You're welcome to Prime Hour this day, Tuesday, where we are going to be looking at the fight against cancer in Cameroon, Africa, and the world. We also are going to be looking at what it takes to keep the body and soul holistically very healthy with some key stakeholders who are working in this domain of the fight against cancer and health in general. We are going to be receiving persons from the Humanity at Heart International and a non-governmental organization, and there is another that is called $1 billion project for Africa. They are in the house this evening to us to also help conscientize, so educate our population, our televiewers, on what it would take to fight cancer, live with it, and make a better world. We are in the company of these persons who are already in the house. Two of them are already here. One is caught in traffic, but we hope that she joins us very shortly. We are in the company of Sabiru Madina Betila. She is the Public Relations Officer for Humanity at Heart and the $1 billion project. Martina, good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Leonard, and thank you for inviting me on set today.
How are you?
I'm fine.
PRO.
Yeah, PRO.
Yes, tell me a little bit about your organization.
All right. I will talk about 1 Billion Rising first of all. 1 Billion Rising is a non-governmental organization. It's a global movement of fighting against violence made to women. When I talk of global movement, it's not only a movement based in Cameroon, it's based in other parts of the world, Nigeria, Togo, Senegal, in the United States, and all the like. So those are the places where we have the 1 Billion Rising movement. And here in Cameroon, the coordinator for the 1 Billion Rising movement is Aminatu Kalkaba. She is the coordinator for Cameroon 1 Billion Rising. I am the public relations officer.
And you're fighting against violence against women?
Yes, violence against women.
Yes. What's the situation in Africa today? Are we moving forward or stagnating, or we are retrogressing?
It's true that some days ago we tried coming out with some figures, and we noticed that we are still on the spot. We are still on one spot because things are not changing. The more days go by, the more we notice violence amongst women. And we ourselves have noticed that on social media, how people post about women being beaten maybe by their spouses and all the like, others that are being kidnapped and being killed in the bushes and the bodies being found. We had a recent case of a certain secretary of a professional school here in Douala. They discovered the body after some 3 days when she was kidnapped and taken to a
There's a recent case in Yaoundé,
yes,
where a man actually got the wife well beaten.
Yes.
The breasts were ironed.
So you see that as days go by, the cases keep on increasing. And this we are trying to work on it as well, because when we organize our events, we try to invite the men as well to come and maybe have a say why these actions are still taking place.
Are you saying that you are not aware why the men take on their wives?
We are aware.
Okay.
We are aware. It's true that most of the times women are the ones that look for their trouble. It's good to say the truth. But then we usually talk to these women.
There is no reason for a man to go to that extent. They should arrange it now.
Yes. Yes, there is always an arrangement. So we usually call maybe the two parties, sit them together and tell them what is supposed to be done. And for the men who just got up one morning and start beating their wives, we put them down, even if it means bringing in legal minds and all the like. We'll do that, because it's not correct for a man to lay his hands on the wife. We say no to that.
What do you say to Yeah, because it's normal or common to hear women complain about violence from the men. Do you know that most of your peers, women beat their husbands, and
Yes.
no news is made of it?
We know that. But you know that before a woman lays her hands on the husband, it must have gotten to a level where she could not take it again. Because you cannot just see a woman like me, I just get over and start beating you if you're my husband.
And you think it's normal for the man to beat the woman?
It's not normal.
The women also provoke them now?
It's true, some women do. Some women do provoke their husbands, which is not good. Which is not good.
We are going to get to discussing more about that, but we also are in the company of Madam, I don't know whether it's Madam or Mrs. Manju Florence. She is a supervisor of a women's health program at the Cameroon Baptist Convention health system or health service.
Health services.
Yes, good evening and welcome.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure being here.
How is the CBC doing?
We are doing great by the grace of God.
And the women are doing well?
The women are doing well, and that's why we are here, to be sure that the women are in perfect health.
So that their voices also can be heard now?
Sure. When we are in perfect health, our voices will be heard. The women are the backbone of the family, so we need to be strong in order to let the family strong.
The men in the CBC, they are not marginalizing you now?
Oh, no, no. We are in a church and we work as one. Yes.
You work as one. Now, but you are also involved with this whole Humanity at Heart International?
Humanity at Heart is just one of the partners that we work together with CBC in the fight against cancer. Yeah. Okay.
The month of January, I'm sure that is where we start. The month of January is dedicated to the fight against cancer. Is it cancer in general or particular type of cancer?
The month of January is dedicated to awareness creation on the fight against cancer of the cervix. It's not cancers in general, but cancer of the cervix. Yes.
Yes, cancer of the cervix. I can't tell you I know what cancer of the cervix is. Can our televiewers understand it better?
Thank you so much. The cervix is the lower part of the womb or the uterus, and it is this area that a child will pass when a woman is in labor and is delivering. And this area has been found to be affected with cancer. And when we look at what is happening, cancer is affecting and is really killing many women in Cameroon and out of Cameroon today. So, in brief, that is what the cervix is.
Yes, but the cancer of the cervix, that is, you have described what the cervix is. But cancer of the cervix, it means that that part of the body gets infected by cancer.
When we talk of cancer, we mean abnormal growth of cells on any area of the body. And talking about cancer of the cervix, we are talking about abnormal growth of cells that begin on the cervix. And that's what we mean by cancer of the cervix. And so when abnormal growth that has a tendency to spread to other areas, they start on the cervix, we call it as cancer of the cervix. Okay.
We have just been joined by Madame Heath Maya. She is the CEO of the Humanity at Heart International, well-being coach, cancer advocate. We are glad to have you for the first time on Prime on Media Prime.
Thank you, Mr. Kom. Thank you to my fellow panelists. Nice to be here.
Okay. Yes. I don't know whether it's traffic that caught you. But
sure.
I want us to start by understanding what this campaign is all about.
Oh, great. This is January, known as a Cervical Health Month. So we are calling on everybody out there, women, to get screened, supported by their husbands, their families, so that everyone will be free from cervical cancer.
Okay.
So cervical cancer is not as known as breast cancer. As we all noticed in October, everywhere was pink. Everybody was talking about breast cancer.
Breast cancer, yes. I remember I received somebody here, yeah.
But you know, January is kind of silent. So we want to create awareness so that everyone knows that cervical cancer is a health burden that needs to be tackled. So that's why we are carrying out these campaigns, making sure that everyone is aware, everyone is in the know, and go get screened.
The campaign actually targets only women?
Women supported by men. Everybody is involved. If you have a wife, you encourage your wife to go get screened. If you have kids at home, young girls, 9 to 15, encourage them to get the vaccine. It's everybody's involved, not just women. But for the screening, women are the target.
Now, to go get screened and get a vaccine, it means that with a vaccine, you would have a possibility of contracting or of having cancer, or how does it?
The probability is, let me say, it's not low, it's kind of good to prevent young girls. But when they turn to adulthood, it's good for them to get screened again because the cells are growing. You need to always get them checked. It's not like we are not human beings that you say you are stagnant. As long as your cells are reproducing, even if you had a vaccine at 15, maybe when you are 30, 35, you need to get screened.
So if you are a woman listening or watching the program this evening, this program is for you. But I'm sure it also concerns the men, because if your wife is not well, you can't be well now. If your daughters are not well, you can't be well. Subiru. I'll take time to get used to it. Yeah, Subiru, you are the public relations officer. What is happening in as far as this campaign is concerned? Are you reaching out door to door to people? Are you holding seminars? What are you telling your sisters?
Okay, the campaign started with the breast cancer. That was in October. And from there, since we have 2 events, and I being the public relations officer for the 2 different organizations,
the 1 billion and something,
yes, 1 billion rising and Humanity at Heart, I had to bring them together because all concern women.
Yeah.
So for the 1 billion rising, since we are fighting against violence made to women, and this year we took the team Rising Gardens, that is training women on how to go into agriculture, agriculture in a different way, not only agriculture in the farms, as we all know. And so paired with the cervical cancer this January, since both events fall on the same day, we decided to pair them together so that the women will have a double advantage. You come for an event in 2. That is, you come, if you registered for the event, you might get screened, and later on you are being trained on how to nurse a plant, how to grow your plant home, and all the like. So that is why we choose January to organize both events. And now our target is everybody. We do that on our social media platforms, be it the 1 Billion Rising platform or the Humanity at Heart platforms, and different groups. So we go to visit, we call them Jangi houses. We go there and have talks with the women and educate them as well, tell them what to do and how they can get themselves registered. Registration is free, but then if you want to take part in the seed nursing and plantation stuff, the registration is 2,000. For that 2,000 can permit us to buy the materials. You know, here in Douala, it's not very easy to get the soil, a good soil that's good for growth of the growth of plants or nursing of plants, and we equally have to buy the fowl dungs and all the like. So the 2,000 is just to buy the material, but registration is free as per se for both organizations. And you can contact our social media platforms, that is Facebook. You tap on 1 Billion Rising Cameroon or Humanity at Heart International, and from there you get us and see our different posts on how we've been mobilizing both young girls and women to take part in this event.
Okay, the January is there to raise awareness against cervical cancer, and the core targets are women. Madam Manju, all the way from Yaoundé, are there some activities that one could be used to that would expose persons to getting the cancer?
Yeah, with cancer of the cervix, there are some risk factors that are involved, and these risk factors include maybe early sexual debut. When young girls get into sexual activity at an early age, maybe before the age of 18, they are at risk of getting cancer of the cervix. When you have multiple sexual partners, you are at risk of getting cancer of the cervix. When you have a sexual partner who has multiple sexual partners, you are at risk of getting cancer of the cervix. For women who are HIV positive, I think their own risk is 6 times higher than women who are HIV negative. Women who have also had other sexually transmitted infections like syphilis, chlamydia, gonorrhea, their risk are higher than women who have not had this.
Okay.
All of this is because cancer of the cervix is caused by a virus.
Okay.
And this virus is called the Human Papillomavirus. Yeah.
This virus, it comes from where?
Viruses are free-living
that's
animals, and they are found on the, especially the pubic area of both males and females, and that's why during both intercourse and extracourse, this virus can pass from one partner to the other. So when you get this virus, even with your hand, when you do extracourse, you can still get this virus. And when you get this virus, you can infect yourself, maybe in your mouth and the other parts of your body, taking it even with your hands.
The more sex partners you have, the more exposed you are.
Yeah.
Because you may easily get in touch with somebody who So when you go out, I'm sure the campaign has been there for how since the beginning of January. You have been having meetings already?
Yes, we have been having meetings at the level of Humanity at Heart, like Subiru was saying, then coupled with 1 billion rising, because we believe in coalition. You know, like the saying goes, one hand cannot tie a bundle of a broom. So we believe in coalition, and from the beginning of January, since we know it's Cervical Health Month, we started by going to churches, social groups, where we find ourselves. We even do one-on-one. I keep telling women, have you been screened? And now that the event is upcoming, because this from yesterday, 18th, running to the 23rd, is Cervical Cancer Awareness Week, actually intensified. So we are calling on everybody. You could go at home and encourage your families. You could sit, use your phone. Have you been screened? Have you done your cervical cancer screenings? So that is why we believe that together we can unite our forces and we can fight this. And recently in November, that's 2020, you know, the WHO actually launched this strategic plan to eliminate cervical cancer. This is possible if we all can unite. It's not just Humanity at Heart International, it's not just 1 billion rising, it's not just CBC HS. Everybody is involved. That if I speak, you speak, the next person speaks, together we are aware. You know, like we always say that ignorance can actually kill. You can have knowledge, but practical knowledge is more important. Once you get the knowledge, go get screened. The action is very important.
Go get screened. We are talking about cervical cancer. How easy is it for someone to get screened, and where do we get screened?
It's easy. Actually, non-painful. Florence can bear with me. The thing is, remove fear. Many women are afraid, and with my experience on the field, many women are going to tell you that better I should not know at all than know it, and I'm panicking and I'm afraid that I would die, because people have this stigma that when you have cancer, you are dead. But it doesn't really kill. You can bear with me that if you capture this at an early stage, people are living that had pre-cancer lesions and they have been treated. Like Florence would agree with me, there's what we call a see and treat. When you are screened and they notice that you have a pre-lesion, they'll propose a treatment. And also note that this cervical cancer doesn't have symptoms at the beginning. Currently, I just visited a patient, which was, the patient actually had a sign in 2000. That is 20 years ago. And, you know, it was just, you know, said maybe it's an infection. The hospitals where she was visiting, they said maybe there's an infection. And now she's posing with stage 3 cervical cancer. That's painful. That's the more reason why we are teaching everyone to be aware that it's non-communicable, that is not speaking. It's not like your breast that is more visible that when you notice a lump, you can easily touch and know that something is wrong. But with the cervix, is internal, that without screenings, you will not be aware. That's why we are laying emphasis on this to be heard, just like the breast.
Anyway, televiewers, I hope we are learning, because me too, I'm learning. Yes, I'm also learning. The question I want to ask, I don't know who answer this, is now, how do we get to know that we are infected or that we have cervical cancer?
Okay, if you have to wait for signs and symptoms of cancer of the cervix, you only come at the PT stage where we'll only say sorry and we'll just try to calm the situation. But with cancer of the cervix, just like Eve said, it can be diagnosed at a pre-cancer stage. I think that's one of the only cancers that can be diagnosed at the pre-cancer stage. Since it can be diagnosed at the pre-cancer stage, and the pre-cancer stage has no sign and has no symptom, that is why we are out to let women come for their screening, because when you get for your screening, if we discover any pre-cancer cells, you are treated. Pre-cancer is being treated in Cameroon and almost 100% effective. So if you wait for signs and symptoms, you will come when it is already too late. So we don't encourage people to wait for signs and symptoms before coming, because signs and symptoms are the last sign to tell you that cancer is already there. Just to add that from the pre-cancer stage to cancer stage, it takes about 10 to 20 years. That is a very long time. And so cervical cancer is considered as a silent killer. You are here, you think you're healthy, you're jumping up and down because you have nothing. It doesn't mean that cancer of the cervix is not there. So you don't wait for these signs and symptoms. And just to mention some of these signs and symptoms, they include maybe irregular menses. Some women have irregular menses and they just think, but it has always been so. And at times it's already a sign to tell you that cancer is around. Another thing is persistent vaginal discharge that is not yielding to treatment. Some women have been coming and treating vaginal discharge. It's not going and the thing is just okay. But that is a sign of cancer of the cervix. For women who are already at menopause, you realize that you are bleeding again. For some women, they are happy that after all, my menses ceased early and it has come back, and they are jubilating. But I want to tell you that with this sign, it is a bad sign. It is a sign to let you know that cancer is around. And if you've noticed, I have not mentioned pain, because pain is one of the last signs for cancer of the cervix. Pain comes when it has spread already to other parts of the body. So don't wait for signs and symptoms before you come for your testing, but come for your test when it is still early.
I have another question to add to that. Good evening, Mr. Liu, or to all the panelists. God bless you, sir. This topic is enriching. I'm learning a lot about fighting cancer efficiently. Daisy is writing from Kumba. Good evening to you, Daisy. Hope you are doing well. Reverend Father Bertus Asanji writing from Bamenda says, greetings, Mr. Liu. Good evening to all the panelists. Sour salt fruit to an extent can cure cancer. Reverend Father Bertus. I hope okay, Father, good evening to you. I'm glad to know that you are watching. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Amo writing from Yaoundé. It's necessary for these people doing campaigns to conduct the scientific test known as FROTIS. I am a victim of wrong diagnosis where a cervical cancer photographic check was done on me and I was given wrong results of being positive. I almost started treatment of my gynecologist, if my gynecologist was not vigilant. Okay, good evening to you. Mo, good evening, Mr. Liu. I love your shows, and most especially the one of today. Just want to say hi to my mom on the show, Mommy Florence. Rhoda is writing from Kumba. Rhoda, good evening to you. Please, this one says, please, Victoria needs special congratulations. At least they have shown where they belong. Those are always not observing the traditional country Sunday. Okay. Yes, he is talking about what is happening in Victoria. Today, the first match for the Shan took place in Victoria. I don't know. Eli, can we have the video from Victoria that was sent to us by His Royal Majesty Chief Moja, who took time off to follow the match between, sure, that was Zambia against, yes, the Zambian match.
As you can see, this is Chief Moja. We're in the Limbe Sports Stadium, Cameroon Southwest Fako Division. We're in Limbe precisely where good football is being played, even though some say the match is not going to take place. They say shine is not going to take place. There's nobody who can fight the government. So are still in the bushes thinking that they can destabilize our country, the peaceful country of Cameroon. I want to tell you that if you care, you stay in the bushes and die there. For those who have sense, you drop your weapons and join the DDR. This is Chief Moja talking. You can see due to coronavirus, we have to respect all the medical practitioners. So we have the social distance here. You can see the turnout here. You can see how the field is full and everybody is happy here in Fako Division. And everybody is very happy. So you can see, I mean, there's no human being that can stop this tournament. We are very grateful to be in Fako Division. I'll call upon all of you people to come to the field next match.
Yeah, we just wanted to have a feel of how Limbe looked like today. The first match that was played at the Kmer Stadium out there in Limbe, chief town of Fako Division in the southwest region. Now, the question I have to ask is, the symptoms are not very visible for cervical cancer. And now a lady has cervical cancer and is there a risk factor of giving it to somebody, or it stays only with you?
Lady, let me pick that one. Let me answer that. When a lady has cervical cancer, it stays with the lady. You know, we will say the men carry it and the women suffer the consequences. Okay. Even though everybody can have HPV at any level in lifetime as long as you are sexually active. But before I even elaborate on this, there's a message that came in on a wrong diagnosis.
Yes.
From Yaoundé. Yes, we just need to clarify that. When you go to a health provider, it's always also good to do a second seek another second opinion to confirm. If you are not comfortable with the first diagnosis, always go in for a second opinion. Even a third is permitted. It's something we need to be very sure that you actually do have it, so that you not have wrong diagnosis and take wrong treatment. No. I just wanted
and maybe just to add, you need to know the facilities where you go to for your testing.
Sure.
Because there are people out here who say they are testing for cervical cancer, and when you look at what they are doing, you start really wondering if that is the right thing. We have different ways in which cervical cancer can be diagnosed. We have the pap smear, like the person mentioned. We have the visual method, and with the visual method, some people use just their naked eye with the help of maybe acetic acid and Lugol iodine to do this test. Another thing is that, like in the CBCHS, we have an enhanced or what we call digital imaging, where we have some pictures that are taken of the cervix to be sure, and this is used as a quality assurance measure, that if it is in a clinic, for example, if somebody is screened in Banso and they take these images, they are sent to the rest of the team members who are out there, and they are able to tell you, yes, this is positive for a pre-cancer, or this is this, and they guide you on how to go about it. So it's very, very necessary too. And just to say that no test is 100%, so that's one thing that we need to know. And in most cases, when pre-cancers are diagnosed, there's a treatment that is being offered. When we suspect cancer, we go ahead to do a biopsy to confirm the diagnosis. We don't just come and see and tell you you have cancer. There are a series of tests that are done to confirm this diagnosis. For example, we don't just see and tell you that you have cancer. Cancer is not seen with the eye. It is in the laboratory that cancer is diagnosed. So when you are suspected to have cancer of the cervix, for example, a biopsy is taken for the laboratory to confirm that you have this cancer, and not just coming one time and you are told you have cancer and maybe they are sending you for a kind of treatment.
Okay. Hi, Mr. Kum. I'm happy to see Madam Florence, who is not leaving anything unturned or cervical cancer is concerned. Long live my media prime. Banken Yafe, writing from Bangolan. You know him?
Yes.
Okay. Bangolan. Bangolan is it in Vonketunja?
Okay.
Bonsoir, j'ai un cancer des cordes, voile bien poussé qui allait m'asphyxier. Quel conseil? I don't know whether we understand what.
The person is indicating that she has cancer of the cervix that is already diagnosed, and she wants to have counsel on what to do. I think it's just for you, I don't know where you are, to visit a health facility where everything can be properly understood and you are given the right counsel on what to do, because from a media like this, we cannot tell you what exactly you need. So what happens is that you need to get to a health facility wherever you are. If you are in
all the health facilities provide.
Not all health facilities provide cervical cancer testing. For example, the CBC health facilities. If you visit any of the CBC or the Baptist health facilities, we are doing cervical cancer testing, and you can be helped or you can be directed. The Presbyterians too are doing that, and some public health facilities. So depending on where the person is, you get to any health facility, you can be helped. But we can still leave our numbers where these people can contact us, where we can direct you better.
Please, if you need to talk to any of them, just write to me after the program. I'll forward their numbers to you so they can direct you to where you can get assistance. I'm Dr. Emmanuel Tangi in Bamenda. The program is very interesting. Could you show the names of your panelists? Please, yes, their names are there. When they're talking, please just be vigilant. You see their names. Good evening, Mr. Liu. My name is the Pope from Tombel. I'm just coming in. Okay. Pope from Tombel. I don't know whether is it a parish Pope or is it quarter Pope. Good evening to you. Good evening, Mr. Liu and the doctors in the house. Please, I would like to know, 1, what is the best way of treating cervical cancer? And 2, after treatment, is there possibility of the cells to grow again? Solange is writing from Muyuka. Good evening to you, Solange. Good evening, Leo, and thanks for the education. Ask those good-looking women to tell us the relationship between cervical cancer and too frequent marriage consumption or coitus. Pan Chanji is writing from whom? Good evening to you. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, people really want to know.
Sure.
Can we start with Chanji?
We just start with Chanji, and we just say, like I mentioned earlier, frequent sexual intercourse will not lead you to cancer of the cervix. But from what we mentioned earlier, multiple sexual partners put you at risk of getting cancer of the cervix. So the frequency doesn't matter here, but the number of partners is what puts you at risk.
If you sleep with 100 persons,
you're at high risk of contracting.
Yes.
Some other person asked a question now. Ask those good-looking women to tell us the relationship between the cervical cancer. Okay, that's what you just answered now. Good evening, Mr. Liu and the doctors in the house. Please, I would like to know, what is the best way of treating cervical cancer? And 2, after treatment, is there a possibility of the cells to grow again? That was going to be my question. Can they treat cancer?
Just like we said, at the pre-cancer stage, if it is diagnosed at the pre-cancer stage, it will be treated at the 100%. Because pre-cancer is not cancer. But when it gets to the cancer stage, it's really difficult to be reversed. But if cancer of the cervix is diagnosed at an early stage, it can be treated. But if it is diagnosed at a late stage, there is no treatment. We have management that is just to help you so that if you have to die, you die in dignity, you die maybe in less pain. That's what happens. But when you get to the level of cancer, especially with the invasive cancer, even if it is treated, because depending on the treatment, it can be a surgical removal of this uterus and the cervix. If it is removed, then you will not have this organ again. And if it is like what we call radio chemotherapy, if this is what is done, it's true, like I said, there's chemotherapy, radio chemotherapy, which is done to cure at an early stage. There's radiochemotherapy, which is done for palliation, just to see that they calm the situation, and at the end you don't get, just to calm the situation so that you don't die easily. So if it is at a late stage, then it is difficult for it to be reversed. But if it is at the pre-cancer stage, it can be reversed and it is treated at almost 100%.
When you say it is treated, how? So if you are diagnosed early, you are treated and you no longer have cancer? Is that what you're saying?
When it is pre-cancer, when you're treated, you no longer have pre-cancer. It gets back to normal. Your cervix is normal. But when it's not a cancer, depending at the stage, either everything is removed through surgery, you will not have this organ again, and you will not have the cancer. Or if it is at a late stage, we just try to reduce the cancer cells and not completely.
When the womb is removed, so you are free?
Yes, just like what Flo is saying, it depends on the stage. If it's at that level of pre-cancer, and even if they're removing the womb, they're removing where the cancer had affected, meaning you will be free from it.
Yeah, but you will no longer be able to put to bed now?
Yes.
Yes, of course.
You
But
can no longer bear children.
the good thing with this is better you live. There are children out there that you can adopt. It must not necessarily come from your womb. So it better be alive and take care of other kids than live with your womb and you die of cervical cancer.
Yes, certainly the communication strategy, from what we have gathered, is supposed to be strategic. Are you more concerned with the younger generation to make sure that they don't get the cancer at all, or you are struggling to talk with the elderly? Who is more prone to getting cancer here?
The younger generation.
Okay.
First, because we've noticed that the younger generation lifestyle, the lifestyle nowadays is not as is far different from the lifestyle of our mothers.
They have Coca-Cola, they have sponsor official, they have Mugu 1, Mugu 2.
So we have to talk with them first, because Madame Florence rightfully said, when you have numerous sexual partners, you are at high risk of contacting or contracting cancer, the cervical cancer. So we talk with the younger generations, but we do not leave the older generations. That is, we first talk our target, first of all, are the younger generations. Then now we get to the mothers and talk with them as well. And it's true, everyone is at risk. But then, what should we do? If they follow us, as we keep on posting on our social media platforms, ways on how to take care of ourselves and all the like, I think cancer will be detected at an early stage rather than staying with it. I'm taking an example on myself. Just last year, 2020, I went in for cervical cancer test twice, just to be sure. Because when you start feeling some funny pains in your stomach and all the like, you start asking yourself questions. Now I want to tell those of you who are afraid of going in for the cancer test with the pretext of I prefer not to know than knowing and start panicking. It's better you know and know where you are standing. It's better you know and know whether you are going in for the treatment or not, rather than staying back and say, no, I don't even want to know. It's the same as HIV and AIDS when it just came out. Everybody said, no, I prefer not to know and stay like that.
Stigma.
Yes, because many have been stigmatized. Many who have suffered from cervical cancer have been pointed fingers at to be witches and wizards and all the like. So I want to call on us, especially those young girls, do not be afraid. Take that boldness in you and go in for the cervical cancer test. And I bet you, when you notice that you're free, at least your heart will be at peace. But when you notice that you have a pre-cancer, the doctor will counsel you and all the like. And if you need more advice, just visit us on our different pages and website, Humanity at Heart, and 1 Billion Rising as well, because 1 Billion Rising, as I earlier said, we talk to women, we talk to young girls about the violence that they face every day from people around them.
So principally, to be exposed to cervical cancer has to do with sexual relationship, principally,
Sure.
from what I gather here.
And I would just want to give maybe some data about this cancer of the cervix, because some people think it's a disease of the white, some people think it's not in our midst. And I want to say that cancer of the cervix is really a threat to women's lives, especially in Cameroon. When you see like the most recent data, you realize that in Cameroon, every day, 7 women are being diagnosed with cancer of the cervix.
Every day?
Yes.
Every day. And out of these 7 women that are diagnosed with cancer of the cervix, 5 of them die daily. So you see that we don't need to live a life that will get to this level. We need to come out, get screened. If pre-cancers are being diagnosed, then they are treated and we live lives free of cervical cancer. We don't need to live lives that we cry every day. The woman is the backbone. Some men are like, what's happening? Maybe the method of testing is discouraging some people, but today we have different methods of testing that are available in Cameroon. For example, the most recent recommendation for the WHO is to do Human Papillomavirus testing. And in the CBC Health Services, this is being done. And like this month, it's being done in a campaign, and with 5,000 francs, you're able to get this test done. It is self-collection. So if you don't want somebody to see your privacy, it's very okay, because when you come for this test, you do your collection, and they will analyze it in the laboratory, and they will give you your results.
The word you use, I myself, I did not understand.
Okay.
You say it's human papillo something?
Human papillomavirus testing. Remember we said this
scientific
cancer is caused by a virus.
Human papillo.
Human papillomavirus. It's just like the HIV that we have been talking about.
Yeah,
This is the human papillomavirus. It's done in the health facilities. When you come, they give you maybe a brush to collect a sample for yourself. Yes. And you bring to the health personnel, who will now go to the laboratory, work on it, and give you your diagnosis.
Okay.
That's one of the most recent, and this is done here.
Why are many women scared?
Maybe the method of screening that they have followed in the past has made them to be scared. Many women don't want to go and show their nakedness, maybe to health personnel, especially the males. So that's one of the reasons some of them are not going. I know some are not going for this testing because they are not aware, and after this they will surely be going for their testing. So we have different methods in our health facilities now. So people should not wait and come when it is too late.
You say 5 out of 7 die. Is it because of late diagnosis?
Yes.
Yes.
Late diagnosis. We see many people at a late stage. Yes.
There's also one thing that women are afraid of, not just the testing. From the experience we have there, when you even go to speak to a woman, I think I earlier mentioned that when you are telling a woman go and get screened, the first fear is they already know that cancer is a death sentence. So we do not want to die. and we don't want to hear about it. And for those that have seen maybe some of the cancer patients, how they have suffered before dying, they won't want to even know about it. And some, it's just laziness. Just like Flo has just mentioned, some is because they are not aware. Some are aware, but they're lazy to go get screened. I have done, we have gone to many places, like thrice, same places, and when you go the first time, they show sign, they're zealous, who will go get screened tomorrow, who will go get screened. And when you leave, nobody gets screened. When you do a follow-up, how many women have been screened from the last awareness campaign we carried at their group? We are still looking for money. The recent times, I think I went back to a church and I had to bring out some women who are really well dressed, that you could actually evaluate the dressing that is not less than 40,000, and I'd ask between this dressing and 5,000 that will protect you for a lifetime, which one do you prefer? The answer is, I prefer not to even know that I have the cervical cancer. The truth is, if you do not wear the shoe, you don't actually know how it pinches.
Okay. Good evening. Thanks for this special program. What is the age limit for the cervical cancer vaccine? Free Goloff writing from Sabga. What is the age limit? Okay. Yes.
Okay, you can go ahead. Okay, for the cervical cancer vaccine, it's for young ladies from 9 years to 25 years. But I know the government is giving out these vaccines now to younger girls 9 years. This vaccine in some other countries is not only taken by the girls, but by both men or boys and girls, or men and women. This is to prevent cancer of the cervix. Maybe I just mentioned something before I continue with this, is that the human papillomavirus that we talk about does not only cause cancer of the cervix, but it equally causes cancer of the vulva, cancer of the vagina, cancer of the anus, and cancer of the penis.
And the throat too.
And of the throat, and even of the skin. So this is what this human papillomavirus can do. So a woman may be there and have a cancer of the cervix. Like what is happening in the CBC health services now, we have been noticing a lot of vulva and vaginal cancers. Many women are coming with vulva cancers, vaginal cancers, and when you look at most of the causes, they are just related to this human papillomavirus. So it can be there. So what happens is that you don't wait because you don't know if you have this virus. The truth is that the men are not tested, but the women can go for it. So for the young girls who are more at risk or more vulnerable to this cancer, we prefer that they get vaccinated and the women be screened. So from 9 years up to 55 years, they can get the vaccine from what the laboratory says. But in our country for now, what is free to the public is just the vaccine for the 9 years.
That's free, but
free.
Everybody can buy.
You can buy.
How
There are
much?
pharmacies that have it. CBCHS used to give it at 15,000 francs per dose, and adults from 15 years and above needed 3 doses. So you just multiply 15,000 per
but should that not also be the focus here, that even those who are above 15 years should buy and get vaccinated?
They can get vaccinated, but from 25 years and above, we prefer the screening to be done, especially for the females. Because, like I said, if there is early debut of sexual activity, and if you pick the virus, for example, if you started sexual activity at the age of 15, and by the age of 25, you may be already having a pre-cancer. Remember, we said it takes about 10 to 20 years for it to develop into a cancer. So we prefer a woman from 25 years and above to come for a testing, so that if there are already signs and symptoms of pre-cancers, then you can be treated, not just going for the vaccine. One thing that I would like to say here is that we have more than 100 types of the human papillomavirus, and this, out of this number, we have 15 high-risk types that cause cancer of the cervix. The vaccine is not completely covering all these 15 types, these high-risk types. The vaccine covers, I think one of the vaccines covers 9 viruses, but in Cameroon, the vaccine that we have covers mostly 4. And 2, which cause 70% of all cervical cancers. But
if we concentrate on these two and the other ones, you may still get cancer. So we prefer screening for the adults and vaccination, especially for people who have not started with sexual debut.
No, but let me take the case of Subiru here. Now, you say you did the screening twice last year,
yes.
and certainly negative.
Yes.
And is it not also wise that she takes the vaccine?
Good. Depending now on the test which she did, I will not encourage a vaccine. If she did a human papillomavirus test, which we are sure she's not infected with the human papillomavirus, she goes in for the testing, for the vaccine, it will be very good. But if she did a pap smear or she did a visual method, then there's a probability that she can be having the virus already, which it's true the vaccine may not prevent further viruses from coming, but the present virus, she needs to deal with it. We need to be sure that it doesn't cause any abnormality to the cervix. So doing your screening and taking your vaccine, they are the best.
Okay. This one says, Maxel, writing from Fumban, kudos to the resource ladies in the studio. Preventive medicine, the key. Good evening to you, Mr. Leo. Good evening to you too. Mr. Leo, I beg, no bite your tongue here. Human Papillomavirus, the name no easier. Learning is a continuous process. I'm learning a lot. Where can I do it in Kumba? I've done it once and it was painful. I would like to do it again if they will not take specimen from my vagina like the first one I did, which was painful. Daisy is writing from Kumba.
In Kumba, we have the Baptist Health Center or the Baptist Hospital. You can get there and you will meet some ladies who will help you out.
It will not be painful.
Women's health program, not painful.
It's not painful, actually.
Yes.
It's not
painful.
Okay.
She can attest to that. It's not painful.
Subiru, was not painful when you did it.
No, it was not.
Where did you do it? Douala?
Yes, here in Douala.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Leo and the beautiful ladies in the studio. More grace to them, and may God bless them for the knowledge they are passing to the people out here. Gerard is writing from Dubai. This one says, how about hepatitis B? What can be the treatment? Thanks. Waiting. No, that's not the topic for today, but definitely we'll get to discuss it one day. Good evening, Mr. Leo and all the doctors in the studio. The program is very educative. Is there any age limit for the testing? And secondly, young girls of what age can start coming for the testing? Thanks. Digmut Timothy is writing from Mutengene. Hello, my name is Nelson, and I wish to verify when and where are they carrying out the cervical cancer test? Is it free? I am Obenge Nelson from mile 17. Mile 17 is in Boya. Now, how soon should the screening process be done for women, for the younger ladies?
For the younger ladies, we have vaccination, and for adults from 25 years,
before they start
screening 25 years and above.
What if somebody is 20, they should not be screened? 20
years, we will not really encourage screening, and
except she's sexually active.
Except there's also another thing that we are really sure of. Maybe for HIV positive, we start at 21 years because, like I said, the risk of having cancer of the cervix is 6 times higher than people who are HIV negative.
Okay, Subiru, you are the public relations officer. You relate with the women on the field. What is the situation? Do you have the impression that people are actually aware of the dangers that, especially women, that face them out there? Do you also think that they're excited to, though we are saying that they don't want, but do you think that they are even they are knowledgeable of the risk that accompany not knowing your status?
I can say majority are still ignorant, but those that are aware of the consequences, they are the ones trying to like lead the ignorant ones not to go in
for the test,
for the screening. Yes, because it's like I hear say it's paining, and when you come back to the quarter and tell the other ones, you are discouraging them.
When you have done your own test.
Yes, when you've done yours. At least you've done yours, you've gotten your results. Instead of coming back and encouraging them, you go and tell that thing was painful. So what do you expect them to do? Obviously they will be afraid. But I am convinced that if you already know the consequences, you will stand up and go yourself. You will not ask somebody, you will not need someone to come and tell you go and do your screening. If you have had someone living with cervical cancer, it's very painful, and I don't think anybody would dream, even your worst enemy, to have cervical cancer. You will not even you won't even want your worst enemy or wish your worst enemy to have cervical cancer.
Madam, if how rampant is cervical cancer in our community today?
It is.
I mean, those suffering from it?
It's high.
Okay.
She just stated like 5 women die daily. That's
for those who are diagnosed.
Yeah, for those who are diagnosed,
Yes,
and this data is just from the Yaoundé Cancer Registry. And so you imagine the number of people who are in our communities who are not aware and they are dying.
Yeah,
they are dying.
They are
just
dying.
like I mentioned, women are having, who have reached menopause, are bleeding, and some of them are happy that it is menses until it starts persisting and going for months. That is starting, they start being scared and they are wondering what is happening. But many people are still living in ignorance.
And I want to even add something. Those that are even dying, or the statistics numbers, are the ones that even come to the hospital. What about those in suburb areas? Those that are not even aware, those that do not even want to come in for the screening. That means more die per day.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I love your program. It's Pa Andrew Damasang, writing from Isokolo in Limbe. Good evening to you, Pa. Good evening, Mr. Kum. Good topic. I did the cervical cancer test in 2018. Wow. Thank God it was negative, but was very painful. Miss P. Miss P is writing from Kumba. I don't know what is painful in it. Mr. Liu. Mr. Liu, thanks very much for this interesting program. I would like to know if women who have already done a hysterectomy can still have any fear. You have an answer after this. Jack Claudine from Boya, please, what really is cancer? You have the answers here. I hope you guys are taking note of the questions. It's a class. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Love your looks today. Almost mistake you for Minister Tanganji.
That's very serious.
Who is this here? How can you say this? Charles, writing from Limbe. Charles, be careful. You say health is wealth. Just want to encourage the doctors to keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Okay. This one says, sorry for this post, please. It was okay. You don't want me to read the post. It's okay. This one says, hi, Mr. Liu. Good evening. Kudos to this program. Angolan Baptist Health Center will be carrying the screening on the 27th of January 2021 by an expert from BBH, Pankeng Yafe. Okay, so
thank you.
If you are living anywhere around Bangolan and Gokutunja, the screening will take place on the 27th of this month in Bangolan. So you rush there to do your screening. Hello, my name is Kingsley. What are the symptoms of cervical cancer? She'll come back to it. I don't know whether it is you or Madam will do that. Hi. Kudos to this program. Thank you very much. Good evening, Mr. Leo. What are the causes of HPV? Hawa is writing from Bamenda. I don't know what her HPV is. Good evening, Mr. Kum and your great panelists. Please, what can the lady say about traditional treatment? Because I have had many traditional doctors boasting that they can treat cancer without specification. What can they say? Sir Prizo is writing from Tico. Good evening, Mr. Kum, your great panelists. Please, what can the lady say about? Okay. Hello, what I'm trying to say is that Let's inform our fellow parents. Parents not to be joking with their children in the name of sending them to school, in the name of education special, because they have never been okay. No, that is not related to what we are discussing.
Okay.
Some questions here. I don't know who is going to provide the answers.
Maybe I start from this end.
Okay.
Somebody was asking if she has had a hysterectomy. Hysterectomy means that your womb or your uterus and your cervix has been removed, if it is still necessary for you. If you were following up, you will realize that I said that the human papillomavirus does not only cause cancer of the cervix, but it equally causes cancer of the vagina, cancer of the vulva, cancer of the anus. So it is still good for you to go for a one-time check, and if this is negative, then you can be rest assured. Don't just sit and think that there is nothing. Like presently in my health facility, we are following up this lady who was diagnosed with cancer of the cervix. Even though the uterus and the cervix was removed, the vault or the space that was left is still having a pre-cancer. And we have another one who already has a cancer. So don't just sit and think that I don't have a uterus and you think it is fine. It is not fine. You still need to visit a health facility, and you are reassured from this end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, but somebody was asking about the causes of cancer. Someone asked about what cancer is. Others were even asking about the causes. I'm sure
the causes of cancer. Cancer in general, we don't know the cause. But when we talk about cancer of the cervix, we know the cause, and it is the human papillomavirus, or the HPV, like somebody wrote. It's the human papillomavirus that causes cancer of the cervix, which I said it is sexually transmitted, even though it can also be transmitted through fomite. And I mentioned hands. Towels can still be part of it. You use towels and share with your siblings. If any person has this HPV or the human papillomavirus, it can still pass from that person to another person. Or sharing of pants. Some people still practice pants sharing. So if I have the human papillomavirus, I use a pants, I give you, you can easily pick this human papillomavirus and you infect yourself. Human papillomavirus then changes the cells of the cervix from normal to abnormal. So when you start having these abnormal cells that have the tendency to spread to other parts, that is when we consider it to be cancer or tumor, as some people will call it. But if it is a growth that will just remain there, it may not be cancer. But for cancer, it has the tendency to spread to other parts.
Hello, my name is Kingsley. What are the symptoms of cervical cancer? You say it's difficult, especially in the early stages.
We said for the pre-cancer and the early stage of cancers, it has no signs and it has no symptoms. But when it reaches the late stages, which is what we are discouraging, you can have signs like having persistent vaginal discharge that is not yielding to treatment, irregular bleeding for people who had already reached menopause. These are some of the signs that you can have. Okay. And I mentioned pain is one of the very last, when it has spread to other parts of the body already.
Please explain how multiple sexual partners can cause cervical cancer, whereas frequent intercourse with one partner is not a risk factor.
Just like we said, if I have a partner who is not having the human papillomavirus, I am not at risk. But having multiple partners, you don't know who is having this human papillomavirus. But if you have just one partner who has the human papillomavirus, you can still be infected. And if you are infected, the truth is that if you are infected, it must not cause a pre-cancer or a cancer. It can clear off. But if it persists, that's when it can go to cause a pre-cancer and later on a cancer. So it's not the frequency of sexual intercourse. Another thing is multiple births from 5 deliveries and above put you at risk. And the reason here is that the nature of the cervix, it has 2 different kinds of cells. One is, I'm sorry, I'll have to use some words here that I'm not able to break. We have these 2 cells, the columnar epithelium and the squamous epithelium. The columnar epithelium is just one cell layer thick to the basement membrane. And what happens is that it looks more of a wound, and it prones you to picking this human papillomavirus and other infections. And that is why from the early onset or the puberty or the teenage age, you can easily pick it, because at this time what you see on the cervix is more of this columnar epithelium, and that is what puts most of the young girls and women at risk of having cancer of the cervix. That is what prones you to having that risk. And the more you deliver, this columnar epithelium goes in and come out and puts you at risk.
Okay.
But for menopausal women, that risk is no longer there, because what you have on the cervix is more of the squamous epithelium, which does not put you more at risk.
Good evening, Leo. Can those ladies enlighten us on the side effects of the vaccine? Therefore, Vitalis is writing from Yaoundé. Ladies, can you just take note there? Let me take a few. Good evening, Leo. Okay, Vitalis from Yaoundé, I got your message already. Good evening, Mr. Liu and the panelists. This program is so educative. My question is, is there no test for men or possible preventive measure against this deadly virus? I am Atanas writing from Kumba. Kudos, Mr. Kum, and greetings to my beautiful colleagues. Very educative program. It's long you visited us in Banyu. We have cases here that needs you. Fai John Baptist Hospital, Wurum in Banyu. Okay, glad to know that you're watching us right up there. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm John writing from Bonaberry. Can irregular flows lead to cancer? What are the causes and symptoms of cervical cancer? I'm sure you've gotten the answer already from the explanations. Please explain how. Okay, no, that one we explained already. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and your health personnel in the studio. Please, where can I go for test in Yaoundé? I'm Petra, writing from Melen in Yaoundé. Hi, Mr. Liu, it's Anita from Bamenda. Please, what is the cause of cervical cancer and the signs? I'm sure she explained already. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and wonderful ladies on board. I am Tasha. I'm writing from Mamphy. How do I get tested? I'm sure they've said that already severally. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm John writing. Now, how aware are Cameroonians about this whole notion of the dangers of cancer? Do you think we are actually aware?
To a lesser extent. I would say to a lesser extent, because being aware is actually being aware and taking action. Because what we are good at, someone, as you are scrolling through the messages, someone asked if the screening was free. And that is what is actually happening in Cameroon. We Cameroonians like what is free. When someone, I think I mentioned that with Flo earlier, I went to talk somewhere. I was talking with someone, and the person was already presenting with pre-cancer. So I said, we'll be having a program on the 23rd, do well to be there. And she said, tu vas me payer le transport, no?
And when she gets sick, she'll pay transport to go and get this.
That is actually what is going on. Sometimes it feels so frustrating when you are trying to create awareness and you are crying that women out there, we know how it feels. It's not a good thing to keep seeing patients. Someone will tell you that I will do it the next tomorrow. Until you see another patient around you, then you pick your phone and call. If there's a cancer patient here, where am I going to do my screening? We don't just wait until we see someone suffering before you remember that someone spoke about it, and then you wake up to go and do the screenings. That is actually why we are here. We are crying out to our fellow Cameroonians, take action while it's still young. We are spreading this message. We are even fortunate that we have social media, we have smartphones. What of those that are in the rural areas? You see, they're not even aware.
Yeah, but they're writing from.
No, I mean the suburbs. Those people have smartphone at least. There are some suburbs that we need to go out there and reach them in person and speak and spread the news and make sure that the mobile team goes there and does the screening on site. For there are people suffering. I've been to Mbam. That is actually, I think you know where Mbam is. It's actually in a valley. You need to scroll your way down there and speak to them. That women that are suffering there, and they have to get up to BBH for screenings, which is not also easy. Accessibility to health facilities is another problem. So people are just being lazy. Some people that are even living by the hospital will not even go there. Those that are even far off, they will complain that they don't have transport to go. Can you give me transport? Can you pay for this? Can you pay for that? It's actually sometimes so frustrating.
Okay. Somebody asked in Yaoundé, you are at Meleng, we are at the Etukepe Baptist Hospital, you can get tested there. And I just want to say something about the traditional medicine.
Okay, yeah,
somebody asked that. And looking at cancers, they are different. And I want to talk more of cancer of the cervix. Cancer of the cervix is not a blood transmitted cancer or whatever. It's not in the blood, but what we call the lymph. And if you go and you start putting things in the blood system and you think you're treating cancer of the cervix, I'll tell you no, you're not doing the right thing. So if you have cancer of the cervix, I'll encourage you to get to a health facilities. Even though we have limited centers in Cameroon where we can treat invasive cancers of the cervix, but at least we have some of the centers like the Douala General Hospital. They can attend to you and treat you at even if to calm the situation. But they are doing something as far as cancer of the cervix is concerned. We have a private clinic at Bikoko, the Cameroon Oncology Center. Those are the two clinics where I know we can have radiochemotherapy. And I encourage you to go there because not all cancers are the same. Especially cancer of the cervix is different. So I'll really hesitate to say go for traditional medicine. If these people can tell us better, maybe we can understand. But as for now, from what I know, as far as cervical cancer is concerned, get to a health facility and you will be helped.
Is this also spiritual now?
Oh, some people take it spiritual because I've seen women.
Are you saying that anointing oil, anointing water?
Oh, some people have gone for that, and I don't deny the power of God here. But even though God is there, God has kept health personnel for a purpose. So do not ignore the health personnel thinking that God is there. I've seen people who have come and I've seen them with high-grade pre-cancers and they say, no, I'm not going to be treated, but I'm going for prayers. Some have gone and by the time they're coming, it's already late at the cancer stage. Some are the early cancers and they're like, no, I'm going for prayers. We don't deny the power of prayers, but we need to be wise. The health facilities we're talking here is not from our own, but God that is giving us the wisdom in order for us to care for these people. So please get to the health facilities.
Well, thanks, Madam Florence, and thank you, Mr. Liu. The program is so educative. A question: after the vaccine, do you run any risk of being infected? Chantal is writing from Bonaberry. Chantal, you're going to have an answer after this. Mr. Liu, when you have it, what is the cure? Prudence is writing from Limbe. Good evening to you, Prudence. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I am enjoying the program. I wish to ask if there is a possibility of reoccurrence after treatment of cervical cancer. Yeah. Manjong Karin is writing from Bamenda. Where do we screen the cancer? Gideon Ngong is writing from Ebolova. Good evening to you, Gideon. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Is HPV virus also found in men? If yes, what are the symptoms since it is the sexually transmitted? Okay. Golof is writing from Sabga. This one says, greetings. I'm Rose from Bamenda. I'm 43 years old and I have 6 children. I have been bleeding for 2 continuously. I don't know whether it's 2 months. That is after my period. It flowed heavily sometimes and sometimes it drops day after day. Please, what could be wrong? I hope you get an answer from us. Hi, Mr. Liu, please, what if you are already diagnosed with virus? What next? You go for treatment, I'm sure. This one says, good evening, all of you in the studio. I'm Odile from Douala. As the young lady has just said, the malady is the worst among all I know till now. Last December, my sister has died from that. She was 53 years. Quels sont les signes qui alertent les saignements ou les douleurs? I'm sure you've
answered that.
talked about that already. This one, please, after receiving the vaccine, is it still necessary to go for screening later? Okay. Please, Mr. Liu, help me ask your panelists how often this test can be done. Mora is writing from Kumba. Good evening to you, Mora. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Thank you for this very educative program. Hi to all in the studio, especially Auntie Flo. We are proud of you. Susung Divine is writing from Mutengene. Thank you, Mr. Liu. Tomorrow I'm going for the test. Irene is writing from Bamenda. Hello, Mr. Liu. What's really the cause of cancer? Because I have ever thought it's a diabolic issue. Please, I really want to know the things that can give one cancer. Nkwele Sone, writing from Douala. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and our able women on the panel following live from Bamenda. Danka Ima. Good evening to you, Ima. This one says, good evening, Mr. Kum. You shall pay school fees. Ha ha ha. Salute the beautiful ladies in the house. More grace to Ma Flo. I'm proud of you. You are other CBC health facilities are where there is a campaign. Kuma from Nyamboya. Good evening, Mr. Kum. You shall pay school fees. For the I understand. Mr. Leo, good evening. This is Kelly from Tico. I love your program. Thank you, Kelly. Good evening, Mr. Leo. I love your shows and most especially the one of today. Okay, Rhoda, we got you already. I don't know whether you have answers to some of the questions raised, but before we get there, you are Subiru. You are the public relations officer.
Yes.
Of billions.
1 billion rising.
1 billion rising. And you are also involved in this whole thing. You are quite young. You went to join in this stuff. Is it money, or is that you love humanity, or what? What brought you into this whole game?
I can say I love humanity, like you just said, and I've once been with someone that suffered from cervical cancer.
Okay.
That is my grandmom, who died in 2012. Actually, at that time, I never knew of cervical cancer. No one told me in the family that is what she was suffering from. She suffered from it for a whole year and getting to 2 years even. It's after her death, some 3 years after, that I actually learned that she died from cervical cancer. And with the coming of the Android phone and all the like, I had to go to Google, check and know what cervical cancer is all about. I saw some terrible images and I asked myself, so this is what my grandmother was suffering from, and people are seated quiet and doing nothing about it. So that is why I had to join
the campaign.
And for 1 billion rising, I have been with people who beat their wives, maybe beat women and maltreat women in some kind of funny ways.
Your friends?
Be it the young women or the older women.
They beat your friends?
Yes. Sometimes my friends. And
I know you.
When I discovered so when I came in contact with the 1 million rising, I said, wow, this is going to be a good form of fighting for these women's rights. What about women that are being raped, who have no saying? Some are being raped and they are ashamed to come out and speak so that it should stop. They die with it because they don't want to show their faces to the world that I have once been raped. Rape, many people see it as a taboo. It's something that happens normally, and I think if it has ever happened to you, you don't need to shy away. So you have to stand up and speak for yourself so that others can take that courage as well and speak for themselves for it to stop. I think it's as days go by, rape in older women is gradually reducing, but the rapes we have nowadays are kids that are being raped. But in older women, it's gradually reducing because they have been able to stand up and fight for themselves.
Yeah, but what about violence at home?
Violence at home.
Domestic violence.
Domestic violence still continues, and that is what we are trying to make sure that it goes out.
Yeah, but is it not also promoted because most of the women would not want, they say what happens in the room should stay in the room?
Okay, some women will stay in their marital homes, in quotes, because they have children already. So you prefer to die and leave your children. Who will make those children to grow up the way you wished them to grow up if you die today? So you have to fight not only for yourselves, you have to fight for those children. And fighting for those children doesn't mean that you have to sit and say the roof covers everything. When it reaches a certain point, you have to break the chains. When it reaches a certain point, you have to stand up and speak. You break the silence, because enough is enough. You might be a victim, another one will be a victim someday. What about your own children? Will you want your children to grow up and go through what you are going through? I don't think any woman wishes to see her daughter go through what she is going through in her marital home in terms of domestic violence. So that is why we at the 1 Billion Rising, we go out to educate these women. Not only educating the women, we educate the men as well, because most of the times women are the causes, the cause to their problems. So we have to talk to both of them.
The man talks one, they respond.
The woman is already at 20. So I think we have to talk to both parties, and that is why the January 23rd event, which is it's on Saturday, the joint event for Humanity at Heart and 1 Billion Rising, we are not only inviting the women, we are inviting the men as well. If you've noticed that your wife has registered, you as the husband, please join her, and you guys should come together. I think you're going to learn something on the 23rd, which you will go and share with your household.
There's an event on the 23rd of January, where?
At the Professional Training Center, BPCT.
BPCT in Douala.
It could be said in French, maybe.
The event is at the Centre de Formation de l'Excellence Professionnelle, BPCT, here in Douala. The event will begin at 8 a.m.
On
Saturday. Yes.
Okay, so when a woman suffers from violence, they should rush to you people to complain. What of the man?
He can equally rush to us and complain.
It's two ways.
Sit the woman down. You know, sometimes they always say women are so mouthy. So the woman is so mouthy to a point that she will at some point be the cause to violence being perpetrated on her. So we need to sit her down as well and tell her how things need to move. Otherwise, she will suffer from domestic violence every day.
Madam, if you are so involved in this, you are the CEO. You you also lost somebody from cancer or domestic violence. So why are you doing this?
I did.
You want to help Cameroon?
I think that's a good question, Mr. Leo. I remember when we went for our legal papers. I think I was being asked, "You are the savior of Cameroon, or what are you trying to do?" When you have Humanity at Heart, just like the name, you don't need someone to push. We do these things for free to save humanity, to make sure humanity is healthy, like what Subiru is saying. And I think when I entered here, I mentioned that there is power in unity, there is power in coalition, and that's why you have us here. And when you see the 1 Billion Rising and Humanity at Heart International merge, we work in collaboration too with the CBCHS. It's all about, it's a network. When we have patients I'm a wellness coach, and when I speak with them, I refer them to a health facilities where they can be taken care of, and they can return back to the organization for proper counseling. Like women that are complaining the screening is painful, you go for pre-counseling. They're going to drill you on what is going to happen. So just an example, I was just from speaking with a patient that was thinking all hope is lost, but I didn't do great. I didn't do a lot of things. The only thing I made her was to laugh. when she laughed, I think the frown face just died away, and that's what we are out there to do. When you see this event on the 23rd, all of us are involved. It's not just 1 Billion Rising, Humanity at Heart International. So she is involved as well. So all of us will all be present on the 23rd. Reason being that she mentioned that you learn how to do plant. It's not just for nothing you are learning how to do plant, and it's not for nothing she's mentioning violence, because when we are talking of treating cervical cancer, that is treating the disease. There is a main disease that we need to go to the root of it, and that starts with your lifestyle. You need to live a holistic lifestyle. You need to eat well. You need to sleep well. You need to exercise. We are good at eating like 10 eggs per week. That's what Cameroonians call good living. And drink
a crate.
Thank you. Drink a crate of Beaufort music. We even advertise it on billboard. In some countries, you cannot see alcohol advertised on billboard. We advertise it. Youngsters are drinking. They are getting drunk. We are going into smoking. There is drug. That's what there's emotional violence. I heard you mention that. What about the men? They're they're going through emotional violence as well. They're stressed out. So when we are mentioning treating cervical cancer, we should also go to the root cause of the matter. Remember, your key to a good life, a healthy living, starts with your immunity. When you build up a strong immunity, a strong immune system, I think you can resist most of these risks that we are mentioning here. You will not even get to have the pre-cancer, not even the cancer itself, because you have decided intentionally to build your immunity by living well. And when I mean living well, you think of your sleep pattern. You think of the exercises you are doing. You think of the food you are eating, that's nutrition. And then you think of your environment as well. Where are you living? Is it comfortable? So when we are encouraging women to come and learn how to plant garden, I remember there's a year when our president said everybody should go back to the farm. It was like a form of mockery that he's sending his children abroad, he's sending the youth to the farm. It's important, because you will know what you are planting, you know how you are raising your plant, you know how you are catering for the plant. I think I left my daughter in Yaoundé to cater for a plant, and she has been doing amazingly great, and she's happy doing it because she's seeing it grow and she's grooming it. It's just like you are grooming your own life to be as healthy as that plant. That is the reason why this program is merged on the 23rd. When you are coming to learn the risk factor of stress on your life, that can equally lead to disease, because you understand your human system. You are learning how to prevent cervical cancer. You are learning how to be more, calm, to avoid violence in the home. You are learning how to even defend yourself if there's a case of rape. So it's a rich program that will be coming up on the 23rd.
23rd of this month in...
Centre de Formation d'Excellence.
Okay, BPP
yes.
Here in Douala. I'll come back to some of the things you just said. You have to elaborate more on the wellness. You are a wellness coach. We'll come back to that. But some persons raised lots of questions, and you may have to answer them. But also many men who are watching the program are also worried that they are only talking about women. How about us, the men?
It's true, like I said, the men carry the virus and it can affect them. Maybe they can have cancer of the anus or cancer of the penis. But the unfortunate thing is that for now, we are not testing men. There's no place in the world where there is a test for the men. So if you have a partner, is to encourage your partner to go for a testing. From there, it will help
you. Do the men just suffer and die?
Not really suffer and die, because one thing, like I was telling you about the tissues that make up the cells that make up the different organs, like that of the cervix, they are completely different from the man. So it is difficult for the man to get cancer of the penis. If you look in literature, you see they are rare, and then cancer of the anus too. So it's rare for the men, but it's so common for the women. And so we want to see that the woman should be taken care of, so that we avoid some of these diseases or the risk factors. So we are not like leaving out the men, but we are just encouraging the men to support their women and their children to go in for the vaccines or to go in for the screening. Some people were also asking if after the vaccine you still need screening. Yes, you still need screening. Remember, I mentioned that these vaccines are there to prevent about 2, 4, or maximum 9 types of the high-risk human papillomavirus, and we have up to 15. So the other risks are still there. So you need screening to be sure you are completely free. So if you get this vaccine at a younger age, from 25 years, please go in for the testing. It will be good for you to go in for the testing. And when you get the vaccine, some people were asking, what are the side effects? From 2010, the CBCHS has been vaccinating young girls against this human papillomavirus. We've not had any major side effects. I know some people have the fear that is to sterilize the young girls. Some people have the fear. People have different fears. But for the girls that we've vaccinated, some of them have grown up to be women and they have already put to birth without any problem. So we had just minor side effects, which is the pain at the injection site. Those are the minor things that we have observed. We have not observed any major side effects. So we encourage people to take in their daughters for vaccination. Yeah.
Yeah, but when you are diagnosed positive of cancer, you say it's possible to treat. What happens next? Okay,
like I said, some people are like, when I go for tests, when you go for a test, depending on the test, you're going to test either for the human papillomavirus. If you're tested for the human papillomavirus and it's positive, this is somebody's question that was asked. If it is positive, then we are going in for a second test, either the pap smear or the visual method. But what happens, like in the CBCHS, we go for the visual method, which is visual inspection with acetic acid iodine, in addition to digital cervicography, where your image of the cervix is captured, and we share with other experts, even in and out of country, to be sure that the diagnosis we are giving you is the best. So that can be done. And if we do this and you have a pre-cancer, depending the type of pre-cancer, either a low-grade pre-cancer or a high-grade pre-cancer, you'll be treated accordingly. We have treatment for all these pre-cancers in all our health facilities in Cameroon.
Treatment means that you no longer have cancer?
Yes.
You are diagnosed positive?
With a pre-cancer.
Okay, pre-cancer.
Yes. You're treated and you get back to normal. But if you're found with the cancer, like I said earlier, if it is at the earlier stage, the different management or the best management will be surgery. And surgery is removal of your cervix and your uterus or your womb. When it is removed, the chances are less. You don't have the cervix again, so you don't have the cancer. But if it's already at the late stage, surgery is not the proper management, but radiotherapy is the proper one now. And so radiotherapy can be done to cure, or it can be done to palliate. If it's done to cure, it means that they can burn or destroy all the cancer cells. It can happen. But if it is too late, it's just done to palliate. They just want to reduce the number of cancer cells that you have in your cervix or in your system. That's what can happen.
Yeah. Okay, I want to come back to you. Madam, if you are a wellness coach and you think that many persons could also be exposed to some of these things because they don't live well, you talk about sleeping pattern, you talk about the way we eat, you talk about because many persons may be living, eating and doing most of these things ignorantly.
Yeah, I said so because, like you rightly said, let me just give an example. When you go to the hospital, and the doctor prescribes a medication, they are going to tell you, the pharmacist is going to explain to you, you take this 2 in the morning, 2 at 2 p.m., 2 at 7 p.m., and make sure you are taking them at those exact same times. There is actually a reason for that, because your system, there are hormonal changes. If you say, okay, I am going to sleep at 10 p.m., and the next tomorrow you are sleeping at midnight, the next tomorrow you are sleeping at 1 a.m., the hormones, that's your sleep hormones, because the central nervous system is made up of 2 systems. You have the sympathetic and the parasympathetic system. when you are in a continuous fight and flight response, that is the hormones that are released are actually stress hormones, which are not bad. I keep saying it, that the stress hormones, which are adrenaline and cortisol, when they're released, they are permitting you to become active and defend yourself from a threat that you are faced with. So when you are coming back to the parasympathetic, this simply means that you have to rest and digest. But the thing is, we are continuously stressed out and we remain at the sympathetic level and not coming down to the parasympathetic system. Therefore means that if adrenaline or cortisol, which are stress hormones, were being released for you to fight a threat is an event that is happening around you. It might be just an example. You are trying to cross the road and a car is coming at a full speed. Obviously adrenaline is released and cortisol. Those are stress hormones that are actually permitting you to fight, to react to that situation, to respond to it. Meaning at that level, if you see someone that is frightened, obviously you see the eyes are wide open, your pupils are dilating, your heart rate beat is faster, and your muscles are also dilating. At that moment, digestion stops. You are not digesting anything because the hormones that are released are for that event, to either fight or to either flee. Imagine that you are in that fight or flight response at that moment, and everything is open up. It's not bad because more blood is being pumped to your system to give you energy to be able to fight, right? Now, you are at continuous sympathetic, meaning everything is dilated. Your heart is beating fast. Your blood pressure is up. If you don't calm down, which needs sleep, you are already gearing towards chronic stress. And when your muscles are not contracting back to its normal state, it weakens your immune system. I think we get the root cause of where most of the diseases are actually arising from, because you are stressing all your muscles, your hormones, you are confusing them with the activities you are doing. You want to eat at 8 p.m. Before you know it, your body is telling you sleep so that I can digest this one, and your body is able to absorb nutrients so that your body can repair, so that your body can rejuvenate, your cells can grow normally. Before you know it, you are putting another food. You know, the hormones that are supposed to be digesting are like, what's happening to me? You see, you are continuously confusing your system. And at the end of the result, your immune system is just confused and weakened, exposing you to disease.
So we need enough rest?
Yes.
We need a very good eating pattern?
That's right. And when I say, let me put it, quality sleep. There are people that can sleep for 14 hours and yet it is not quality sleep. There are people that want to go to sleep normally in normal circumstances. When you want to go to sleep, you need to turn off these artificial lights 2 hours before you sleep.
Okay.
Yes, but when you go to sleep, okay, you want to rest. Your phone is in your hand. You are scrolling through and you receive, maybe there's an accident in Tiko Douala Highway, and maybe involve somebody, you're already in a flight or fight mode again. Meanwhile, your system was about to rest and digest. You're like, what has happened? You see, it's confusing.
Are you saying it's not advisable to sleep with the lights on?
No. I know some people like to sleep with lights on because they're scared. Turn off the lights.
Because I always sleep with the lights on.
Turn it off so that your system can be able to repair properly.
Wow. I'll change this one today. Okay, we are moving gradually towards the end of the program. I'm sure there are some questions many persons want to learn. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Bashiru from Way. Glad to read from you, Bashiru. Marriage is a relationship where two persons of the opposite sex come together, build a family. During this process, domestic violence may occur. It's true. What I want you to reiterate to the lady is some women nowadays beat up their husbands or giving mental torture to their men, e.g., like your man is very less worried, you take advantage, a big children with other people, bringing them into the home. Bashiru, hope everybody is doing well in Way. village. Good evening to everybody. Greetings to all in the studio. Today's panelists, I would love to verify which hospital in Limbe is open for cancer testing cases. Thanks. Grace is writing from Limbe. What happens to in Limbe?
The regional hospital in Limbe is doing that.
So Grace, you can go to the regional hospital in Limbe. Please, Mr. Liu, is still Heather from Yaoundé because I was diagnosed with the virus, but I was asked to come for checkup after 1 year to see if the virus have developed or not. I did the visual testing and it was negative, so I was asked to come back after a year without any medicine. Is that proper?
It's very proper. You don't need to panic because the virus is not a pre-cancer nor a cancer. So you just respect your appointments and come back in 1 year. Okay.
Hi, it's Obenge. Please, doctor said there is nowhere in the world that men are tested for this cancer. So how do the men know their status? Does it mean that if my wife is free from that cancer, I can be assured of being safe?
Yeah, to an extent you can. To an extent.
Greetings to the panel. I would like to know where one can go to Kumba or its environs for cancer testing. Thank you and God bless you.
Baptist Hospital Kumba, you will get tested.
Benson is writing from Kumba. Good evening to you all in the studio. Please, I'm in Limbe. Where can I do the screening? Sidonie is writing from Limbe. Every person, any lady watching us from Limbe, go to the regional hospital in Limbe. You will do the test there. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Wow, what a fantastic topic. Thank you to your panel. Very informative and educational. Thanks. Regard Vanessa Mazi writing from South Africa. Good evening to you too, Vanessa. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I love the program, and just to inform you that the HPV will be given in Yoke during our reach out for girl children for 9 years, free of charge, Malindi Health area. I am Chinda Umaru writing from Yoke. That is tomorrow. So if you are in Yoke watching us, Muyuka, go for the vaccination. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I love your program. Special greetings to Aunt Florence. All my questions have been answered, but I wish to plead on Auntie Florence and the team to visit us here in BHB Banyu. This is Korish Maka writing from Banyu. Okay. Please, this initiative should be extended to Bamenda. Wonderful contribution, Mr. Liu. Okay. Father Sanji wants it in Bamenda, but there should be a program in Bamenda.
The Baptist Hospital or the Baptist Health Center at Finance Junction is doing exactly what I said here.
Okay.
So if you are in Bamenda, you can get to the Baptist Health Center at the Finance Junction for your screening.
Are you saying the regional hospital is not doing so?
The regional hospital is doing, but they are not doing exactly. So what the regional hospital, Boya, the person who was there is gone to Boya. So.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Kum. Please, I wish to know if eating in roasted dishes also cause cancer. I'm Brenda, writing from Amanda.
Maybe other cancers. The cancer of the cervix is caused by the human papillomavirus.
Good evening to you guys in the studio. Happy New Year. I'm Treasure, writing from Amanda. Good evening to you, Treasure. Good evening, Mr. Kum. How expensive is HPV test? Emmanuel, writing from Limbe. It's 5,000 now.
5,000.
Okay.
5,000 francs.
Okay, but it's free for some people?
No, 5,000 francs for now.
The screening is not free?
No, it's 5,000.
It's a subsidized cost at this 5,000. After this campaign, which will be ending on the 4th of February with the World Cancer Day, the cost will be raised. So for now, to 15,000.
Okay. Yeah. So if you are wise, just rush tomorrow and do the screening. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Please, can a pregnant woman do the screening or the test? Mora is writing from Kumba.
No. Please, when you deliver, you can come and do your screening and your test.
Greetings to you all in the studio. It's Mbanui Ta from Kribi. I appreciate the health talk and encourage us to educate the community. Prevention is better than cure. Greetings to Mr. Ekfui and family from Sabga, to my charming wife home, and to you all in the studio once more. Good evening to you too. The messages, I hope I go through. I'm reading most of the messages so that many more persons can get the information they desire. Please, Mr. Liu, I beg you to text me Mr. Njumai Valentine's contact. Okay. Please just write me after this. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Greetings to all the beautiful ladies in the studio. I love the program of today. Thanks for educative talks. Adele Queen writing from Yaoundé. Sleep without lights. The witches in my area are more active. Okay, when there's no light up, so them go just can't express my neck. Gerard is writing from Long Street in Boya. Okay. Quite funny there. Hi, Mr. Liu. Lovely program there. Okay. Okay, we cannot take all the messages. We have to end here. So can we talk more about the program of Saturday?
Yeah.
Tell the televiewers what is happening on Saturday and how they can benefit from your services.
Okay, I'm inviting everyone for Saturday's program. Saturday the 23rd of January. We are having the Rising Gardens and Self-Care event. That is the name of our program. Rising Gardens, why? Because in order to fight cancer and in order to fight domestic violence, we need to start from somewhere, and we will be training women on how to nurse and grow plants. From growing plants, it can be an income for revenue at the end of the day, because if you learn how to grow maybe spices, or we have different varieties of plants that are going to be nursed that day, if you succeed in doing so, that can help you to feed your home and to feed yourself as well, in order to fight cancer. Because when you eat there are some specific meals or food or fruits as well that we need to eat in order to stay safe and healthy, as the wellness coach rightfully said. And equally, for the event, there is going to be a topic on stress management. We have educative talks on how to manage stress and all the like, and equally talks on how to prevent cancer and so on and so forth. So you guys are all invited. It is at the Centre de Formation de l'Excellence Professionnelle BPCT here in Douala, 23rd. The event will begin at 8 a.m. We are inviting both women and men.
Okay, the women should not come alone. They should come with their men, especially to hear how not to be violent towards their women now.
Sure.
We need to grow Cameroon.
Exactly.
So we need peace.
Sure.
Yes. Are you going to be there on Saturday?
Yes, I'm going to be there. We are going to be talking on cervical cancer, just as she mentioned. And our desire is to have a Cameroon free from cervical cancer, just like WHO has launched this program to eliminate cervical cancer in the world. I know this can happen in Cameroon. If we join our hands together, we'll be able to fight cervical cancer out of Cameroon.
Okay. Yes. Saturday is culminating a series of activities you have been doing already.
Yes, actually. And it's a call for concern for everybody, like what my fellow panelists have just said. If we want to eliminate cervical cancer in Cameroon, we need to take action. And this action involves everybody. We are calling on everybody to take this as a public health concern so that we can tackle it.
Okay.
Get the word out there. Tell your neighbors, tell your families, let them go and get screened.
So you've gotten the message from us today is that you go and get screened for cervical cancer. I am going to do that for everybody who is related to me. I will advise them to engage in that. Madam Manju Florence, supervisor, Women's Health Program at the Cameroon Baptist Convention Health Services out there in Yaoundé. We're glad you were part of this edition of the program.
I'm happy to have been there.
And to you, Sabiru Madina Betila, Public Relations Officer, Humanity at Heart, and 1 billion. project.
Yeah, thank you. 1 billion rising.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you as well.
Okay, and to you, Madam Eve Maya, wellness coach and cancer advocate, CEO, Humanity at Heart. We are glad that you accepted to be part of this edition of the program.
Thank you so much for having us. It has been a wonderful evening to share with our televiewers and share this message that everybody has to take home. United, we stand against cervical cancer, and we are hoping to have a cervical cancer-free Cameroon.
Okay, we also want to thank you all who took time off to watch the program. We thank you who participated by sending text messages, and to you, Desmond and Eli, and to you, Noel and Bertrand, we say thank you. To you, Tambe Bryant, and everybody out there. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.